Atlanta, Georgia, a city rising, a city becoming the black mecca of the South. But between 1979 and 1981, something dark moved underneath it. More than 24 black children and young adults disappeared or were found murdered. Families were terrified. Neighborhoods were on edge. And the city was desperate for answers. This is the part of the story most people know. Tonight we're talking about the parts they don't. Wayne Bertram Williams was a young man with big dreams. He wanted to be a music producer, a talent scout, a filmmaker, anything that would get him into Atlanta's entertainment scene. And that dream led him to a woman named Shireen Alexander, owner of Shireen's Showcase, a small talent agency in the city. Williams worked with her as a freelance scout. He met families. He met kids trying to break into modeling and entertainment. He traveled around Atlanta looking for talent. This relationship is real, documented, and rarely talked about. It placed him around young people, a detail investigators later focused on. May 22nd, 1981. Investigators were watching the James Jackson Parkway Bridge. They heard a splash in the water below. Moments later, Wayne Williams drove across the bridge. Police stopped him, questioned him. Let him go. Days later, the body of Nathaniel Cater was found downstream. This moment became the turning point of the entire case. But here's the part most people never heard. The splash was never scientifically proven to be a body. No physical evidence confirmed it. And the timeline didn't match Cater's estimated time of death. Here's the documented truth. Wayne Williams was only convicted of 2 murders, Nathaniel Cater and Jimmy Ray Payne. Both were adult men. He was never convicted of any of the Atlanta child murders. Not one child case ever went to trial. Not one child case ever had a jury verdict. The child cases were closed by attribution, a legal loophole that lets the state close cases without proving them in court. This is one of the biggest unknown facts in the entire story. Investigators used fiber evidence, carpet fibers, blanket fibers, dog hairs. But here's the part that rarely makes the headlines. The dog hairs were not a perfect match. Forensic science in 1981 could only say the hairs were consistent with Williams' German Shepherd. Not identical, not unique, not conclusive. The prosecution used 28 types of fibers. Most were mass-produced materials found all over the city. Williams passed multiple lie detector tests. Polygraphs aren't perfect, but this fact was rarely reported. Several victims didn't fit the pattern. Age, location, and circumstances varied more than the public was told. And early FBI profiles suggested. Multiple killers, a detail never shared publicly at the time. Now here's the part almost nobody knew. The FBI quietly investigated the Georgia White Knights, a violent Klan faction active in the late 1970s. They placed informants inside Klan meetings. They monitored threats. They listened for confessions. They tracked individuals who had made violent statements about harming black children. One Klan member allegedly made threats toward black youth, a detail never shared with the public at the time. But Atlanta was preparing for the 1981 Democratic National Convention. City leaders feared racial unrest, national embarrassment, and economic fallout. The Klan angle was quietly investigated, then quietly dropped. The public didn't learn about this until decades later. Atlanta was growing fast. Money was flowing in. The city was becoming a national symbol of black success. The murders threatened that image. The pressure on police and politicians was intense. This political pressure shaped the investigation, another unknown fact rarely discussed. Several families publicly stated they did not believe Wayne Williams was responsible for their child's death. Their voices were rarely shown on television, rarely printed in newspapers, rarely included in documentaries, but they exist, and they matter. In 2019, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms reopened the Atlanta child murders case. She said the families deserved answers, real answers, using modern DNA, technology that didn't exist in 1981. She dedicated a new memorial to the victims. She ordered a fresh forensic review of the evidence. The results were mixed. Some fibers matched, some didn't. Some were inconclusive. Her message was simple. The city owed it to the families to look again, because even decades later, the story still wasn't settled. Wayne Williams has been denied parole repeatedly. Every denial is based only on the 2 adult murders, not the child cases. he still maintains his innocence. The Wayne Williams case is one of the most controversial chapters in Southern history. A case full of fear, politics, pressure, and unanswered questions. A case where the official story and the documented facts don't always line up. A case that shaped Atlanta forever. And tonight, you heard the parts they don't teach. The parts they don't highlight. The parts they don't repeat. The untold parts. This is the Untold South. And the story continues.